So, Ruxin, tell me, how well do you think you know Yu-Gi-Oh?
Oh, gosh. Are we scale of 1 to 10? Is that what you're asking?
Just generally, how knowledgeable do you feel you are in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh?
If you say the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, we're talking
or just
low.
Yu-Gi-Oh in general. Sorry, just Yu-Gi-Oh, just Yu-Gi-Oh.
I mean, it's like with the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, we're at like a 2, so I'm gonna average it out with like the random knowledge I have up to like a 4 out of 10.
Okay, good. Well, fortunately, we're not gonna be playing any Yu-Gi-Oh today, so you can take a big sigh of relief. But we're gonna be testing your knowledge to see how well you know Yu-Gi-Oh. I have compiled a list of cards, and I'm gonna be showing both you and the audience these cards, and you have to tell me if you think this card is real or if it's fake. And if it's fake, you have to tell me why it's fake and what the correct way the card should be. So you ready?
Great. Yeah, I'm ready, I guess.
Okay. So we'll start with an easy one, okay? We're gonna start with one of your favorite cards of all time. We're gonna start with Petit Moth here. Is this card real or is it fake?
Okay,
and
how
if
many
it's fake,
details are we getting to? Because at 2024, Cimoooooooo is not real.
Okay, so for clarification, that's on every card, so people know that the cards are not actual Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's on every card. I've thrown all of these cards. I've thrown all these cards into a generator, so they all look uniform and they look like real Yu-Gi-Oh cards, right? Okay. So the idea is we have to test your knowledge to see how well you know these cards. I will also give you a little bit of a hint. I did not modify the code of the card in the bottom left corner, nor did I modify the set number or like what set it's from. So this is the Metal Raiders 023. That is the actual Petit Moth. So those parts are going to be just to make the cards look like actual cards.
And I got another question. What about first edition being on the bottom instead of on the
bottom I mean,
left?
I just wanted them all to be first edition. So technically, you can that's going to be on all of them. So you can ignore that. I'm talking about all of the different characteristics of the card, from the name, the attribute, the level, the typing, the flavor text, the attack, the defense. Everything is up for grabs, except for, you know, the aforementioned few things that are... I'm not going to be that specific and make sure you know.
That's the stuff I know, is that random stuff. Like, hey, that first edition's in the wrong spot. That's the kind of stuff I know.
You going to tell me the password for Petit Moth so I can input it in Eternal Duelist Soul? I'd appreciate it.
The passwords I know, I have not memorized, unfortunately, but maybe in the future. Okay.
That'll be on the hard version of this series, but anyway.
Okay. Let me go through this. Petit Moth is spelled correctly. There was nothing weird there. It is an earth monster. That's normal. It's a level 1. That's normal. It's also a normal monster. It's an insect. You haven't changed any of the code. The small but deadly creature is better off avoided is the normal flavor text. 300, 250 feels right. I know the attack's right. The only question I have is if it's 200 defense, but I feel like 250 is correct. The only thing that I would question is the defense, and that's because I never look at the defense. So overall, this looks right to me, other than, you know, the random stuff we already mentioned. So I would say this is a real Yu-Gi-Oh card.
That's your final answer?
Yeah.
This is not a real Yu-Gi-Oh card. You were correct. Petit Moth does in fact have 200 defense. I modified it to 250 for the exact reason you said. I knew if I changed the attack, you would notice. But the defense, who's going to look at the defense on little old Petit Moth?
We're all about attack. We attack.
We're going to go ahead now to another one of your favorite cards, card number 2. Let's go ahead and show off the Millennium Shield. I know this is another one of your favorites.
My favorite cards, which is a problem.
It's embarrassing that you didn't know that it had 200 defense versus 250. I'm just saying.
You know, I could have just turned around and looked right now, except this big card actually doesn't have attack and defense on it, so it wouldn't have helped. I'm not cheating because the Millennium Shield is covering up the attribute here. But I could cheat and look and see if it's a warrior. I'm not going to though. Okay. Light feels right, but it could be a dark. 5-star. It's definitely a 1 tribute, so it's got to be 5 or 6. This is gonna be hard. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Is there an imposter among us?
It doesn't even have first edition, technically. I'm just throwing that
Technically,
out there.
yes. The McDonald's pack. Yes. I didn't want
it. Bonus points?
No bonus points. No bonus points.
Wait, why is this an effect monster? Famous shield. Wait, that's got to be wrong. It's not an effect monster. Famous shield said to belong to an ancient Egyptian pharaoh. Legends tell of its power to block any strong attack. Is that the actual text? Well, just the effect part has to be wrong.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I actually messed that one up. It's supposed to be normal. So sorry, that's supposed to be normal. So that's
so
not
I get this right.
No, that wasn't the thing that I was trying to have you look for.
It doesn't matter. It's wrong either way. I gotta get this point.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a half point because I messed up. But
half point. Okay, give me half point.
But you have to tell me if it's real or fake otherwise.
The rest of it, the warrior is the part that I'm like, that seems weird, but it could be. It seems tricky. But what else would it be? A warrior would use a shield, so that kind of makes sense. I think it is a light, if I remember correctly. The level, I'm questioning the level, and I'm questioning the, what do you call that? The
type?
The type, yeah, not the attribute. Okay, the type, I can't think of what else it would be, though, besides warrior. So now I'm on level. Is it a 6 or is it a 5? I feel like 0 attacks gonna make it a 5. This is a real card. That's what I'm gonna say.
It's a real card, aside from the fact it says effect. And I'm gonna send Gareth the actual corrected version, so the audience won't even see that in the first place.
Okay.
So real card, final answer.
Yes.
You are incorrect.
Oh, what is it?
So what's your gut telling you? So now that you know it's incorrect, what do you think is the...
I would lean towards the level being incorrect.
It is a level 5.
Oh.
So
is it the type or is it something else I missed?
Well, what do you think? What's your second guess?
Well, my second guess is the type, but the stats are definitely right. 0-3000.
That is correct. Yeah.
Wait, is it spelled wrong?
It's spelled correctly. That would have been a good one, actually, though, if people were paying attention.
The double L's and double N's, I was like, is one of those... Okay, it's got to be the type that... No. It's the flavor text is terrible. I got distracted because of the effect part.
No,
it's the flavor text.
That is the flavor text. No, you're right.
I got distracted.
No, the flavor text. No, the flavor text is correct. The flavor text is normal. Yes, the flavor text is that bad.
Flavor text.
Yes.
Okay, type then. It has to be.
No.
What is it then?
Attribute. Millennium Shield is an earth.
What? Wait, is that on my giant card? Time out.
Is it?
Oh, it was right there the whole time. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Isn't that wild, though? This looks like a light. I would not know that this was an earth prior to making this video for you.
So much for my favorite cards. Oh, my goodness.
Embarrassing.
Put Alistair on here.
I will tell you, I picked a lot of old school cards for you to give you the best chance, but so far you're 0-2, so it's not going too well.
No, I'm not, because you had an effect monster, and I said it was not real, so I should have gotten that one.
That's
I'm just
fair.
throwing that out there. I get half a point.
Here's Musician King.
Metal
Raiders.
Right.
Metal Raiders is your favorite set.
I feel like this isn't right.
Why is that? Why is that?
The fusion materials are... I thought they were different than this. They're like completely random, which this is pretty random now that you look at it. Wait. Have these all been fake so far?
They've all been fake so far, but that's not to say that there isn't some that aren't fake. I said it's real or fake. I would not lie and tell you that and say that there are none that aren't. That would just be...
Okay, now I'm leaning towards this is real because I don't know. This is this is Metal Raiders card, but... All I remember is that it has really weird fusion materials, and these are weird, actually. Which is because it's, this is completely random. Like, where's the music coming from? I don't know the stats at all. It's probably a level 5 because they love to do that for the fusions. Light makes sense. Like,
how many packs of Metal Raiders have you opened, Ruxin? How many times have you seen Musician King?
This is this isn't like the bottom quarter. I don't care about this guy. This is a real card.
Okay. You want to check those fusion materials again for me, buddy?
I bring up the answer every time, and then I go against it. Right,
well, the reason I'm telling you to check the fusion materials is because you're correct.
Yes, I've gotten one.
You actually, another way you could know this is that this was actually done in the anime. I believe it was one of the filler episodes between Duelist Kingdom and Battle City, where some no-name, I think it was Johnny Steps, used Witch of the Black Forest and Lady of Faith to make Musician King in an episode. Which I picked this specifically because this makes no sense. This card just straight up, this is classic Yu-Gi-Oh! At its finest, where...
I remember it being weird. That's all I remembered. I was the least familiar with that card, and I got that one right, so that makes sense.
Well, technically, they're all 50-50, right? So it shouldn't be too bad. You love the Petit moth. How about the Cocoon of Evolution?
I do like the Cocoon of Evolution. The Cocoon of Evolution! Okay. That's the right name. Earth is right. I don't remember the level here. I feel like 3 could be high, but it's probably going to be more than the Petit moth, so that could be correct. 3 seems right. Insect effect seems right. Target 1 Petit moth you control. Equip this card from your field to that target. Now that I know there's going to be like 2 words that I could miss, I'm in trouble. While equipped by this effect, the original attack and defense becomes the attack and defense of Cocoon of Evolution. Isn't there supposed to be something about turns on here or something? No, maybe is that the Great Moth effect? Great Moth and the perfectly ultimate Great Moth that says the 4 turns and 6 turns. Yeah, maybe this is right. Oh, I'm getting confused with the other ones. 0-2K is the correct stats. This is the correct card.
Final answer.
Yes.
You are incorrect. So the Cocoon...
I'm just gonna default to not correct from now on.
You still have to, if you default to not correct, you have to tell me why. It's not that simple, but...
Oh, dang. So it's not a 50-50 then.
The Cocoon of Evolution has to be equipped from the hand to a Petit moth, not from the field, which in the old Metal Raiders is worded very strangely that you would not understand that's actually what you're supposed to do with this card. But I believe Weevil does it in the anime, so it's funny that you made your little impression of him.
I missed it, but I knew that there would be something like that as to why I missed it. So I basically got it right.
I tip my hat off to you for trying. And speaking of tipping my hat off, let's go ahead and give you a new one.
Can you tip me a hat off of the answer, please? Okay, magical hats. Eventually one of these is going to be right, and I'm going to get something right. Trap card. It is a trap card. It says trap up there. Okay, during your opponent's battle phase, I don't actually know the effect of this. Choose 2 spells cards from your deck and 1 monster in your main monster zone. From your deck? Is it really?
I don't know, is it?
Special summon them. This is going to be correct, and I'm going to guess something like that. Special summon them as normal monsters in face down defense position. Set the chosen monsters if it face up, and shuffle them on the field. The 2 cards chosen from your deck are destroyed at the end of the battle phase. It cannot remain on the field except during this battle phase. So I remember this card being kind of crappy, unlike in the anime, where it's like unbelievable. They never guessed the right one. So making
weird plot armor card.
Yeah, making them 0 normal monsters that get destroyed at the end of the battle phase is pretty bad. Summoning from the deck, I don't remember. That seems like really advanced for like a Pharaoh Servant card.
This is just bizarre for a Pharaoh Servant card, period, I feel like. That's why I picked it.
That's true. I know that this one's going to be right, but I'm going for the gusto. I'm going to try to get the worst score. So I'm going to go for... This is wrong because it says choose 2 spell cards from the... It also says spell cards? Why does it have to be spell cards? That line is wrong. Choose 2 spell cards from your deck and 1 monster and special summon them as normal monster from your deck. And yeah, that's wrong.
Final answer.
I know it's going to be the right card. Yes, final answer.
Okay, so you said it's wrong?
Yes.
And why specifically is it wrong?
I can't just say that one line is wrong. I have to tell you what in that line.
You have to correct the card.
I have to correct the card. This is not a 50-50. Oh my goodness.
How well do you know Yu-Gi-Oh, Ruxin?
Not well, clearly. Okay. Oh, choose 2 spell cards is not right. It cannot be 2 spell cards. That would be so like random. That doesn't even make sense. And then the 1 monster in your main monster zone, I think is correct. So that is probably fine. I mean, it could just be a terrible card, which it probably is. So, but I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Magical hats, you've got some playability somewhere. 2 cards from your deck and 1 monsters in your main monster zone. Special summon them.
Final answer.
I guess.
You
what
are
are we even playing for?
You are so close. You are so close. I was on camera. I'm freaking out.
What is
Magical hats is choose 2 spell or trap cards. Spell/trap cards.
Oh.
You were so close. So yes, this is an actual Pharaoh Servant card. And it has seen like very fringe play because magical hats can destroy some spell cards, essentially just searching them out of the deck. And so, for instance, in Edison, they can destroy Gear Town to summon an Ancient Gear Gadgeton Dragon specifically from the deck after the battle phase. Or with the actual like Harpy strategy, you can destroy a Hysteric Sign to get it to the graveyard to trigger it to be able to search like 3 Harpy cards on the end phase.
It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's just a very unique card, but
that's why I thought the deck would be fake, because I was like, that sounds way too good. But then I need to think about that the old cards actually, they didn't think about how good that was. They just put it on there.
So you know what? Since you got that half point earlier from my Millennium Shield mess up, I'll give you a half point for Magical Hat.
Yes!
Okay, so you're continuing your evolution throughout the game. So we're going to give you another one of your cards that you love so much, so we can see how well you know them.
Okay, our great moth, the grande moth. Okay, great moth, Earth is right. 8-star. It's either a 7 or an 8. It could be a 7, but I feel like it's an 8 because it's kind of a big boss monster. Insect effect is right. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Yeah, it can't be. This card can only be special summoned by tributing Petit Moth on the 5th turn after Petit Moth has been equipped with the Cocoon. So the perfectly ultimate I feel like is 6. And I thought this one was 4. And that would be the one to swap, would be just like the number of turns. It is 2600 attack. I'm a little iffy on that. That's what we missed on the previous moth, so it could be, 22 or something, but 25 feels right for this kind of monster. The thing I'm questioning is the 5th turn. I feel like you have to summon this in Duel Links at some point in one of the missions, but it's been so long since I've done that. And whenever I played on Master Duel trying to summon the perfectly ultimate, that was a completely different card. I feel like it was 6 on that one, but it could have even been 5 on that one. And that has better stats, so that should be... My gut is telling me this is supposed to be 4 turns of the equipped Petit Moth, or Petit Moth equipped with Cocoon. Everything else looks right. I think it is an 8-star. I'm going to go with this is wrong, and it's supposed to be equipped for 4 turns. Or you're supposed to tribute... You can special summon it after 4 turns of Petit Moth being equipped to Cocoon.
You are correct,
yeah!
Ruxin! Your knowledge of the Grande Moth has paid off.
Yes, I'm so sad I missed the Petit. I could have all of them right.
You could. I was dying too, because like as soon as you like started focusing on the level, I'm like, oh man. But then you notice the 5th turn. Yes, it is 4th turn. Not 5th, so congratulations on that.
4 is already ridiculous. It's impossible.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
5 it would be ridiculous on here.
Especially since you remembered that perfectly ultimate is 6.
Yeah.
And that would make sense to go from 5 to 6 for the jumping power that they have there. You did well with the fusions. How about we give you another fusion monster? This should be one you're familiar with.
Okay, come on. We got to get this right.
Legend of Blue Eyes. It's even earlier than Metal Raiders, which you've probably seen even more of it then.
Flame Swordsman is a fire, obviously. It's a 5-star. That, I believe, is correct. Warrior Fusion's correct. Hinotama Soul is not a fusion material. It is Misaki Legendary Swordsman. The other one is Flame Manipulator. This is not a real card. Final answer. Wait. Let me check the stats. Correct. Yeah. That final answer.
You sure? You hesitated.
Well, I didn't check the stats, but 1816. I know the attack's right. The defense is what gets me in trouble. I don't see it being lower than 1600, so I'm going to stick with final answer because, well, I know that the material is wrong, so I have to stick with that. So yeah, that's the wrong material.
You are correct. It is Flame Manipulator. Yes! I tried to get you. Hinotama Soul is another fire monster that's a normal from like these sets. So if you knew Hinotama Soul, you might think, oh, that makes sense. Like Misaki gets the fire and that's how he becomes Flame Swordsman. But no, you know your older Yu-Gi-Oh in that regard. So I tried to get you there, but you would not falter. So you know what? we haven't had a spell card yet. Let's go ahead and let's throw one of those in there. This one you did good with LOB so far. Let's see if the trend continues.
It says spell card. It should be magic card. First edition LOB is magic card. So
that's
this cannot be right. Is that the answer?
It's not the answer. No. I will let you know the card generator doesn't let me put magic. Otherwise I would have done that.
That's ridiculous. Okay, Swords of Revealing Light. That's the correct name. It says spell card there. After this card's activation, it remains on the field, but you must destroy it during the end phase of your opponent's 3rd turn. Is that really the text?
I don't know. Is it?
That sounds really weird. That sounds like an old card. That sounds like an original printing. That's when this card is activated. If your opponent controls a face down monster, flip all monsters they control face up. Flip monsters' effects are not activated at this time. Are they not activated? Now I know it flips them up. That I'm not sure about. While this card's face up on the field, your opponent cannot declare an attack. Now I know that is right. Your opponent's monsters cannot declare an attack because you can still declare an attack. We messed that earlier. The first line, okay, let's look at this again. After this card's activation, it remains on the field. Yeah, it remains on the field. Yeah, that just seems weird. It remains on the field. Wait, why isn't this? I guess it's not a continuous, and that's why or is it a continuous? Is this just a regular spell card? It's not a quick play, but if it's continuous, would it die at a certain point? Because continuous just lasts forever until they're gotten rid of, I think. So maybe that's why they have to say it remains on the field.
I love this. I love this series so much.
Oh, this is horrible. Oh my god. There are so many things that I feel like could be wrong, but might be right.
Talk me through it. What are you thinking?
Well, here's the problem. It's 3 full turns. So when you activate it on your turn, it's not a full turn until it gets back to your turn. So during the end phase, it's almost your turn, but it's not yet. You usually put the counter on during your turn. So it should be You go, you play Swords Revealing Light. The opponent goes, they can't attack or whatever. Comes back to you, you put the counter on. So 1 counter. So you wouldn't destroy it during the end phase. You would destroy it during probably like the standby phase or something of your turn, or maybe the main phase, because that would be the 3rd full turn. But maybe I'm just wrong about that. And then I'm questioning the flip effect monsters are not activated. But I think that's right, actually. Now that I think about it, I think that they are not activated. Unless it says flip effect monsters are activated at this time. But I think it says not. So I think it's the first line that there's going to be an issue. And then I'm questioning whether it would be a continuous or not. But I don't think it's continuous. I think it's that first line. But because they're always wrong, I'm not going to say this is correct. I'm going to say that this card is incorrect.
Why?
Because it is supposed to be destroyed not on your opponent, end of your opponent's 3rd turn, but okay, wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's supposed to be, well, then that would be their 4th turn. You play it on turn 1 and it destroys 3 turns later. That would technically be the 4th turn. But I feel like it does say 3rd turn on the card. So maybe it is supposed to be their 3rd turn. Because it wouldn't be your 3rd turn, because you play on the 1st turn, it goes to their 1st turn, your 2nd turn, their 2nd turn, your 3rd turn, their 3rd turn. Then it's your 4th turn if it went all the way around. So maybe it's supposed to say like 3 turns later, but that would be very confusing, so that's probably not what it says. Oh gosh. I know it has something to do with this, I just don't know what exactly it is. And it says you must destroy it. Why would you be, I feel like it is destroyed, I feel like is what it would say. Or it leaves the field, or something like that. But like probably not going to say leaves the field, because that would, yeah, it probably says destroy. But it's weird that it says you must destroy it. It's just destroying itself, or it's just ending. Oh my gosh. Okay, I just gotta guess. I don't think this card is right. I'll actually be really surprised if this is the real text. So I'm going to say this is incorrect. And I'm going to say it's actually, I'm going to say, oh, am I really going to pivot from my whole theory this entire time? I feel like you must destroy it is weird. Oh, but it doesn't make sense to say 3 turns later. Like, in phase of your opponent's 3rd turn is actually kind of making sense. So I'm going to say it is destroyed at the end phase of your opponent's 3rd turn. That's what I'm going to change.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Oh my god, this one was heartbreaking. You even identified it, but then you pivoted away from it.
No!
So, Swords of Revealing Light, everything you're looking at is actually correct. What was incorrect is the flip effects monsters are now activated at this time or not activated at this time. That is not on the Swords of Revealing Light text. That is something that, for whatever reason, is a misconception that people think is how Swords of Revealing Light work. So that was added there. So that is that is the extra
Okay,
part.
so are they activated then?
Are the effects activated? Yes, they are activated.
So it just flips them up.
It flips them up and activates them because they're flipped. Yes.
I had it right away and then I just left it.
But I think the reason it's worded the way it is because since it was from the first set, it's also not a continuous spell, which you noticed. That's actually accurate. It's not a continuous spell. And I think that's why it's worded this way. That's why it says it remains on the field. Because if it was a continuous spell, you would know to leave it on the field.
It automatically does that.
Right.
You don't have to say it.
But it does need some mechanism to destroy itself. So I think this is just the fact that it's an old card. It was just worded in a very weird way. Right. But yeah, I played on the fact that so many people, for whatever reason, think Swords doesn't activate the flip effects, but it does. Yeah. And so I added that there to throw you off a bit. So you noticed it, but you just pivoted away from it.
Man, all right. I was on this other sentence the entire time. Okay, that's great. All right.
Let's move on to another classic DM card. The Dark Sage.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, this is a card. All right, Dark Sage. It's a dark. That 9-star feels right. So that feels right on that. Spellcaster, I mean, it's a sage. It's got to be. It's an effect. Cannot be normal summon set. That is true. Must be special summon from your hand or deck. That's correct. I remember that you can deck summon this thing, which is crazy.
Which is crazy, yeah.
Yeah, by tributing 1 Dark Magician immediately after applying the effect of Time Wizard, in which you called the coin toss right. When special summoning this way, add 1 spell card from your deck to your hand. I remember that you have to hit Time Wizard. I'm pretty sure you do have to tribute Dark Magician, and it can be from deck. Adding the spell card from deck to hand is one thing that I'm wondering about. And also these stats. Does it have 3,200 defense or is it 3,200 attack? Or does it have 3,200 at all?
You tell us, Ruxin.
Oh, man. Add one spell card from your deck to hand. I feel like there has to be some effect to make this ridiculous sequence worth it. So the adding one spell card from your deck to your hand seems pretty good, but then you're searching a spell, which is absurdly powerful back then, and even now. But still, like, you're not going to play Time Wizard and activate the effect. You have to have Dark Magician on the field. I'm almost leaning toward this as a correct card, which is, we've had one correct card. But I guess, like, this effect is so ridiculous that it would want you to guess it is incorrect. No, you can't special summon from deck. No, it's not going to add a spell card. No, you don't have to apply the effect of Time Wizard. Like, that's stupid. You would be like next level game playing me if you flipped the attack and defense here. That'd be like the most random thing to mess up here. Or like the level. Like if the level's wrong here, either way, I have to say the right thing. So you could have done that. But I am leaning toward the defense is looking a little sus to me. 3,200 is pretty high. 2,800 feels right for the attack though. But I could see them being flipped. I'm leaning toward correct for this one. And that's my final answer.
Final answer that this is correct. You sure?
Yes.
You are correct,
Yes!
Ruxin. Wow.
We sussed it out.
This card is so ridiculous. And like there's so many reasons you could think that this is wrong. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, he can talk himself in circles trying to figure out what's wrong with this. And honestly, for me, the 3,200 defense, like when I first saw this card again for the first time in a while, I thought that was wrong. But no, This thing just straight up has 3,200 defense for no reason. So I thought if anything, and you were leaning towards like that being the incorrect part, I thought that's what would trip people up if they were trying to figure out if this is real or not. Because that's just like, what has 3,200 defense back in like the old days of Yu-Gi-Oh?
It's pretty random because it's like a big attack monster with just randomly has more defense. Like you don't see that very often.
And the fact that, like you said, it adds a spell from your deck, like it's crazy. It's such a crazy payoff, but
it's like such a nice like meme Master Duel card. Like you're like, all right, I'm playing Dark Sage today. We're adding like triple tactics talents from our deck or whatever.
Let's go ahead and go back to Metal Raiders. Metal Raider seems to be your friend here. Let's go ahead and see what you think of Princess of Tsurugi.
Oh, I hope that's spelled right. It's a very weird looking name. Wind? Little Wolverine, is that a wind? 3-star. This is not one that I tend to pay a lot of attention to. Not one of my favorites. 900, 700, I feel like is right. Inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent's life points for each spell and trap card on your opponent's side of the field. Wow, that's actually a pretty good burn effect. Wait.
Tsurugi burn was actually like sort of a thing way back in the day.
That adds up. That's like a just desserts, except for
back row. Yeah.
If this is right, of course. I could see this being one where it's like not a wind, because I think that's the right stats. Tsurugi, I could see being spelled differently too. You haven't done that with the spelling yet. You might not at all. Warrior Wind. Warrior. I mean, it has Wolverine claws. It has to be a warrior. Like, if it's not, that's just, they messed up. If it's a burn card, it's got to be flipped. So the last one was correct. This one is definitely not going to be correct. There's no way.
Would I put 2 correct ones in a row? I don't know.
I don't think you would, but maybe you would. But 500 seems... I've never like seen someone build a burn deck with this. Like maybe they did back in the day, because maybe it's like 300 per. Because 500 is like the most you ever get per something. That's like Just Desserts, which was an early card. So maybe they hadn't like figured out the balance of burn cards yet. And spell and trap, that could be wrong. Maybe it's like monsters, but on your opponent's side. It's got to be on your opponent. It couldn't be on your side of the field. That'd be too easily manipulated, I think. There are a lot of options here. I think it could be the wrong attribute, could be the wrong type, but I think the type has to be. Probably more likely to be the attribute wrong, or the amount of life points is too high, which I'm leaning toward the life points just being, because this is like, if I'm wrong about this, this is just a really strong card back in the day for especially Metal Raiders, because you could do 2,500 points of damage if they have a full back row.
3,000 if they have a field spell.
Yeah, and then, yeah, that's like almost half. So what amount would it be if I'm right about that? I think it's why do I think it's 200? 200 or 300 are my two options. 100 is not enough. Like no one would ever do it. You could also do like later, I guess Tsukiyomi could make this. You just flip it up, you burn, flip it back down, flip it back up, you burn. Okay, my answer, just because I don't think you're gonna do, I mean, I don't think 500 is right. That's right. So I'm gonna say this is not correct because the amount of life points is incorrect. Do I have to tell you the exact amount can I just say 500 is wrong?
You have to correct the card.
Okay. I was hoping you'd let me off the hook there. Okay. I'm going to say I'm leaning toward 200. It could be 300, but I'm going to say 200 points of damage.
Final answer?
Yes.
Well, you're correct that it's incorrect, but not for the right reason.
Okay.
It is incorrect because the artwork is incorrect. And I thought you might actually get this one because of the fact that you opened plenty of Metal Raiders packs.
Oh, what card is this?
That is Queen's Double. Very fitting for why I picked it. But
wow,
as you
it looks so much like the other one.
Yeah, like Metal Raiders has all those cards that are like the same card, but just like shifted a different direction. So I thought you might actually pick this one up because the artwork was different.
I've never actually noticed this before. Well, now it's another thing I can talk about in Metal Raiders.
There you go.
Wow, it really does 500 damage?
It really does, yeah. Princess of Tsurugi, like I said, was like a somewhat like burn strategy in like Metal Raiders.
Wow, that's a really good card, actually.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. Also can like hit under gravity bind and stuff too. Like it's not.
I accept it. That's pretty good.
Okay, so yeah, I had to trip you up a bit changing the artwork, but like I said, since you opened so many packs, I thought you might actually get that one. Just
well, I knew this was a real card. That's why I didn't even think twice about it, because like this is a real artwork. I was just like, yeah, that's the right artwork, and I just moved on. I didn't even think about it.
Well, now you know all the tricks that I have at my disposal.
Yeah, now I know you might switch the artwork. That'll help.
Yeah. But you have an opportunity in the final round here to earn 5 points to buff your score. One card, 5 points. There are 5 things wrong with this specific card. Okay. So this is going to be your opportunity to redeem yourself.
Oh, boy. Oh, look at that defense. That's wrong. It's supposed to be 1930. Okay.
Oh, is that one of your changes?
Yeah, I'm locking. Can I do one at a time? Or
you can lock in one at a time if you want. Sure.
All right, 1930 defense. Okay. Is locked in. Oh, you're not going to tell me?
No.
What's the point of locking it in then? I'm unlocking it.
Okay, fine. I'll. It's correct. Yes, it's supposed to be 1930. So you got a point. Congratulations.
Yes. All right, so one down. The question is the attack 930? I think it is 920. Okay, Castle of Dark Illusions. A rock? I don't think it's a rock. I bet it's a fiend or something. I don't think it's a zombie.
Because that would make sense.
What?
That would make sense if it was a zombie.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it is. I think it's like a... It's not a rock. It's a... Fiend has gotta be it. What else would it be? It could be... No. This is a spellcaster, isn't it? I think this is a spellcaster. It's a fiend or a spellcaster. I'll come back to that one. Okay, increase the attack of all and defense of all zombies by 200. The attack and defense continues to increase by 200. Maybe this is the one that's supposed to be 100. Maybe that's what's wrong. Oh no, this is also, is this really a 3-star? I feel like it might be actually. Okay, I'm gonna do the type thing first.
Okay.
For some reason, it is calling to me saying it's a spellcaster, but it should just be a fiend.
Okay.
But it's telling me it's a spellcaster. So do I go with my gut? Or I go with my random guess that I feel like is right. There's also a gut thing. So it's both gut. My gut will be wrong and will be right. Or I'll just be wrong on both. It's possible.
That's true. You could be.
But that is definitely... If there are 5 things wrong with this card, the type is one of them. So it's definitely... That is wrong. The question is what... It's a fiend. Locking it in.
Correct.
Yes. Yes. I didn't convince myself it was a spellcaster. Okay. 2 down, 3 to go.
Look at you raking in all the points now.
Raking in the points. I've like really 40% more than I had in the 20 questions. It's got to be a dark. Castle of Dark Illusion. Is it Dark Illusions? Castle of Dark Illusions, I think. I think the name's supposed to be Castle of Dark Illusions. I'm locking that in.
Correct.
Yes. 3
You're
down.
way better at this.
Yeah, I should have done this. Yeah, the having the possibility of being correct, that's what screwed me up. Okay. Why do I feel like that's right? But if it's wrong, it's got to be a 4. But it's probably 2 things in the text at this point, because we've gotten 3 other things. The things I'm considering are the amount it is pumping. 200 is kind of a lot. This one is actually all zombie type monsters, I think, because with the other one, it was pumping itself and also zombies. So there was like, it could not be the zombies. Here, it's either pumping zombies or it's not pumping zombies. And it is pumping zombies, I think. But is it by 200 points? Does it get 200 right off the bat too? I feel like I remember it doing that, but is it 200? One of these numbers is wrong. There's no way. It's probably 200 plus the additional 400. And is the 4th turn include? I don't remember anything weird about maybe I'm just getting that confused with the Pump King. So maybe that could be like 6 or like not exist at all.
Metal Raiders love their effects of this will be done after the 4th or 5th turn.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, we're not letting it last forever. All right. Like we're cutting this contract contract off quick. Okay, so let's just get to it because I got to start guessing. So I've got two
You're 3 for 3 so far. There's only 2 things left.
Yeah, and I think that one of them has to do with, could be the defense of the zombie type monsters, could be the attack of this, or it could be how much it pumps it. But for 200, for some reason, sounds right. But maybe it's just, it sounds right because it increases the attack and defense of all zombie monsters by 200, and that was it. I think that the second thing, as long as the card makes it face up on the field, the attack and defense of zombie monsters and continues to increase by 200 points, I think that's supposed to be 100.
Are you locking that in?
Yeah, I'll lock it in.
Incorrect.
Ooh, it is 200. Interesting.
So you only get one more opportunity, and you know there's 2 other things still wrong with it. So you can still get 1 more point here.
I'm going to say that it doesn't actually increase the defense of the zombie monsters.
That's the final answer?
Yeah.
That is also incorrect.
Oh, okay. What are they?
You should have went with your gut. It is a level 4 monster, not level 3. And the final thing, I don't think you picked up on this at all. This card is actually a flip effect for the first part of the effect. So it's traditionally...
That's why I wasn't registering it, just always working. That makes sense.
So it flips to increase the attack and defense of all zombies by 200 initially.
Yeah,
and then the rest of the effect is in play. So
that makes sense. Yeah,
so we omitted that part. Just to kind of throw you off a bit. But 3 out of 5 is pretty good, though, all things considered.
I think I might be beaten soon. I'm just going to throw that out there.
It's possible. I don't know. Maybe this was a lot harder than I initially thought it might be.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, like, because these are very specific. Like, you have to be exactly right. Like, even if you know the cards, like, well, you'll have to be exactly right to get it. So we'll see how that turns out with other people, but...
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how much people actually know their Yu-Gi-Oh! Because at the end of the day, like, people might know, but if everything's in a vacuum and you're just staring at the card, the fake card potentially that I'm showing you, you knew some of them, but you were second-guessing yourself a lot too. So maybe other people fall for the same trap. Who knows?
Right.
Well, Ruxin, thank you so much for joining me on the first episode of Do You Know Yu-Gi-Oh! We appreciate you. Be sure to check out Ruxin. I'll have his links down in the description for you guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.